We are here for yet another panel on AI. But what's going to make this AI panel different is we're going to be talking about not just the future, but actually the past, stuff we have done in real life with AI that has driven real results for brands. We're going to interview two experts in the arena, three experts in the arena. Greg Johns, EVP and Chief Digital Officer at Canvas Worldwide. Tylen Petrie, SVP of AI and Analytics at Chalice AI. And Stephanie Landrum, EVP and Head of Digital and Programmatic at Dentsu. So we're really excited to get it going. Before we get into the ad tech geeky stuff, I wanted to start with a more fun question, which is maybe introduce yourself a little and your favorite way AI is adding value to your life right now.
All right, I'm next to you. I guess I'll start.
Yeah, go for it.
Greg Johns, with Canvas for almost 10 years now. My God. The way AI is adding value to my life that is a bit fun. So my wife and I drink a particular type of champagne, and we don't necessarily know which champagnes on a list are what's called zero dosage. But I take a picture with ChatGPT, and it will tell me which ones are and what's the best value for the price. So that's how I cheat now.
That is a good tip.
It's a good one. Hi, everyone. I'm Tylen, SVP of AI and Analytics at Chalice. I've been with the company for about 4 years now. Fun way that AI is impacting my life. I'm going to have to go with summarizing recipes. I hate when you get to a recipe blog, you scroll to the bottom, and you're not even sure if you want to use the recipe. So just asking ChatGPT to get to the point, give me the recipe, has been a game changer for me.
You stole mine.
Really?
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I can think of something different. So I'm Stephanie Landrum. I oversee our digital and programmatic practice at Dentsu in the US. And I think that outside of using AI to curate recipes for me, which to be completely honest, I do, and then I don't actually use them or cook. My husband does it all.
Yeah, same here.
Nice work.
But I used it to maybe look up some of the answers for this panel on AI.
Nice. I love that. I have been hesitant on the recipe front because I feel like it could hallucinate and add, mix up the salt and the sugar, but it's good to know the data scientist trusts ChatGPT with her meals.
With human review.
With human review, always. Okay. Great. So we are going to go through a couple of case studies and then reveal Chalice's new AI platform. So the first case study that is up is with Zillow, a client of Canvas's. Let's roll the case study video, and then we'll get into the conversation. Amazing. All right, so thank you. Claps. That's exciting. It actually did this execution with Zillow, Chalice, and Canvas just swept the Ad Exchanger Awards last week. That's like the programmatic
Oscars for dorks.
Oscars for dorks, exactly. And I was going to say, Greg, I'm going to ask you, what makes this award-winning? But you're Mr. No Bullshit in this industry. So I'm curious, in a no bullshit way, why did this win the Dorks of Advertising award?
I think that one of the things that we've been able to demonstrate with this type of technology is that you're finally finding that magic ability to have both quality and performance at the same time. And too often, we've operated as an industry as there is a trade-off. You can be efficient, maybe not effective, and quite frankly, every brand wants to demonstrate that it deserves to be next to quality, but quite often it loses out to the power of the spreadsheet. So why this was very powerful is it allowed us to do both and do it in an automated way, and at the same time get that full funnel dream of we're enhancing the quality of the media that we're next to, we're enhancing the value of the brand, but oh, by the way, we just blew away your direct response numbers in the process of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Tylin, you built the tech at Chalice AI that enabled this to happen. I'm curious about how you think about building and deploying custom models, and I'm especially interested in how you think about how AI can lead to, as Greg said, like growth and efficiency.
I think the key is putting AI in the hands of the marketers and the hands-on keyboards team. My team strives to build the best models that we can, but we don't have that inside baseball knowledge of what really is going to make this pop for the brand. So making sure that we can bring that model to the data, things don't have to move, and the advertiser can interact with our models and fine-tune them to really drive home those outcomes on top of the model is what's most important here.
Awesome, great. And then, so Greg, putting it literally back in your hands right now. So your team has been using Chalice's AI to curate here, build audiences for other clients. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, like, again, because you have like a big filter for bullshit, how do you suss out, well, first, how do you decide whether you're gonna partner or build when it comes to like AI capabilities? And then how do you suss out who's like a partner who has something legitimate and like real AI versus like what might be kind of slapped on to the side?
Well, right now it's very difficult because we're obviously in a very frothy AI market. Fortunately, I knew of you both many, many years ago. I wouldn't say this was new, but it was newer. And quite frankly, I believe very strongly in the partnership model. I think there's some things that agencies have very strong core competencies in, but we shouldn't try to do everything. And to be quite honest, I want companies with a laser focus who build good products, but are also willing to work in the environment that multi-client types of engagements are going to require. So a little bit of chaos, not a cookie cutter type of operation by any stretch of the imagination. Allie, my joke with you guys, I did your Series A, but I forgot to get the equity. But knowing all of that, I think we like to look for partnerships that are a little bit earlier. I think one of the advantages that I have as an independent agency is we're less scary, and so we're not too cumbersome to work with. We're agile enough that we can kind of partner with a more early stage startup and help ourselves grow together. So that's what I look for, is that kind of alignment of where do we want to be 3 years from now versus where we are.
It's true. If Greg hadn't come as an early customer for Chalice, we probably would have run out of money and would not be here today. It is 1,000% true, and he put a lot of trust in a small team. We were doing AI stuff together 5 years ago, which was like 2 or 3 years before ChatGPT even came on the scene. Mm-hmm. And yet your team has pushed us really hard to create new products, which we now go and sell to everyone else. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and if anybody from Imperium is in the audience, you're welcome.
Tylin, the thesis of Chalice is like build custom AI models for clients, but do it in a way that is like true software that's repeatable, configurable. When you work with partners like Canvas and Dentsu, how do they help shape the product vision?
I think that it's a constant feedback loop. For my team with data scientists, we have a lot of different ideas of how we could build a model and how we could configure it, but we don't know the best way to test it out for a given brand. So presenting that idea, going back and forth and being fully transparent with what the tech can do, where the data can live, and all of the other elements that we tied together is very helpful. It really does become a partnership. We have all of the software, but we need to figure out how to use it together. I think that iteration is what makes the tech really powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think just adding to that, it's a new challenge almost every day, in this day and age. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that, we've been able to demonstrate for our clients, and especially our partnership with Zillow, is that, as the needs change, we've been responding, and, Zillow does a great job of moving with us as well. So to have a partner like Chalice along the way for all of that, just makes the whole thing work great.
Well, thank you. I owe you more advisor shares after this panel.
Thank you. We'll transfer him to Canvas, I swear.
All right. We are going to now jump to Dentsu, where we have actually like a series of case studies to share all in one quick video. So let's tee that up. Okay, awesome. So that was like really quick. But what I love about that is those 3 case studies represent a range of ways you could use custom AI to drive an outcome. So we have one that is looking at awareness lift for a premium CPG brand. We have one that is driving new-to-brand sales for a toy and education brand. And then you have the good old get me a better cost per acquisition for enterprise software. So like very different verticals and different KPIs. So Stephanie, what are you most excited about AI in terms of what it's newly able to do to drive client results?
Yep. So for me, it's 2 things, at least today. It's the idea of the productivity that we are able to bring to clients because of the workflows that come from AI, and it's also the creativity that's unlocked because of that. So you're thinking about all of the teams who are doing the meaningful work, and a lot of it does become task-based, and it has to be done because it's important to the day-to-day and to the clients, how AI can help strip some of that out. And when that happens, then those people, those humans, their job just changes, and it actually becomes the scenario where they are bringing more to the table from a more strategic standpoint. And I just think we'll just continue to see that evolve. But I think today that's what I'm most excited about. So.
Nice. I love that. My co-founder, who is also my husband, had the insight. One of the insights for Chalice was he ran a programmatic team, like you, and he noticed that his team was trying to drive metrics like this: awareness, incremental sales, and they found that they were always steering against an autopilot, which was an algorithm pointed in the direction of like last click conversions and all of that gameable stuff. And what we found is when you use an AI tool, then the team isn't like in there trying to pull a bunch of levers and try to like manually figure out how to make the platforms work for you. They get freed up to do the strategic stuff, right?
I saw somewhere somebody wrote something like it can become a sea of sameness.
Yeah.
And I like that. Oh yes, like AI without the human helping to make it really work and make the narrative and the story come to life, like it can just kind of become a sea of sameness. So I don't know. I agree with you.
I like that. And Tylin, I'm curious, you've worked with a variety of clients and partners, certainly with Dentsu. What of these 3 case studies, what's most interesting to you, or what were you most proud of?
All of them.
It honestly is hard to pick. I really love all of them. I'm going to have to say the new-to-brand sales, because that was a really fun data science modeling project, but it really honed in on an offline KPI. We got to a business metric that we were really excited about, and we were able to not only 4x the new-to-brand sales, but bring a new product to market with the Dentsu team for CPG. So the other ones are really cool and exciting too, but I think that has to be my favorite.
It's all about incrementality.
Yeah.
It is, exactly. And this is incrementality for CPG that's relatively plug and play.
Awesome. I was hoping you'd choose that one, given I did not rehearse that question with you.
Oh, I didn't realize there's a right answer.
Because that's one that we figured out a way for clients who don't have first-party or sales data use what we do is use panel data there to drive and feed the algorithm, so the algorithm gets data to decision. Okay, amazing. And Stephanie, Dentsu has like thrown down really hard on a concept we love, which is the age of the algorithm. Could you explain more about what that is and how it's driving your strategy?
Yep. So within the walls of Dentsu, when we talk about the algorithmic era, we're really talking about what does it mean to not just have AI plugged in on the side. We're talking about it being the strategic enabler to the way that we're operating. And that meaning, that kind of sounds buzzwordy, but meaning we want AI to be powering every piece of what we're doing from end to end, so that it's not just, hey, here's a custom algorithm over here, and hey, we plugged AI in over here, and that built our supply. And it's about how do we customize the workflow, how do we make sure it's constantly optimizing, because if it's humming in the background, again, now all of a sudden, it's working for you, not against you or as some sort of little thing on the side. And now your people are all doing the work that really the clients want to pay for. So that's really the root of the algorithmic era.
Awesome. We're really thrilled to partner with you guys on it. I think it's cool. You see some holdcos are sort of like building their own AI platform end to end themselves, and then you see others partnering with the like best in the ecosystem. And it's really interesting to see how both will play out over the next the future. Mm-hmm. All right. So. It's actually a great note to say we're going to preview Chalice's new curation platform. I posted about this morning on LinkedIn. We actually did this backwards in that we built all of the back-end tech that's been powering Canvas and Dentsu's clients. And then we're like, oh, we should probably like make a UI for this. And then just so like people could better understand it. And they're like, oh, wow, actually we could put this in the hands of agencies to curate as they do best using their strategy with like our AI models. So with that, let's share the demo.
This is Chalice's Curate AI platform, putting the ability to create and activate custom AI models directly in your hands. Let's say you're an auto brand and your goal is to get more people to configure a car online. You have your brief, reach people researching compact SUVs and comparing models like the Tucson, Blazer, or RAV4. You want positive news coverage and relevant lifestyle moments, like maybe expecting parents. Instead of turning your brief into a rigid audience segment or static curated lists, you can just type it naturally, like ChatGPT.
I'm going to select a few additional content filters, like category and preferred ad format, to help the AI narrow in on the most relevant type of pages.
Behind the scenes, AI models run across millions of pages using LLMs and predictive AI to translate that prompt into a nuanced embedded profile, generating a curated list of over 100,000 URLs, each scored for how closely it aligns with your brief.
Up top, I can see the breakdown of what the AI found. Most of these URLs fall into family planning and car reviews, which makes sense for this audience. If I scroll down, I can actually see the individual URLs, along with their relevant scores and domain names. From here, I can sanity check the results, add or remove pages, or filter down to only those with the highest scores before moving on to the next step. Perfect.
Now I want to make sure these pages are high-quality environments for my brand to appear on. Each page is scored across 16 quality signals, from ad clutter to refresh rate and overall user experience. I'll increase the weight on the overall page quality, and maybe scroll down here and loosen the filter on video duration to allow for shorter play times. You'll see everything update instantly. Total volume drops a bit, but what's left are premium pages in clean, brand-safe environments. Now I'm down to about 24,000 highly relevant, high-quality pages ready for activation. Finally, it's time to set everything live. Here's my curation summary. 24,800 URLs across more than 3,000 premium domains, all aligned with my brief. On the right, I'll set up launch details: advertiser, PMP name, and platform. I can choose my SSP, connect directly to a DSP like the Trade Desk, and schedule automatic refreshes so this PMP stays current. I think I'll choose daily. Before I launch, I also have the option to optimize toward an outcome, whether that's relevance, cost per quality, or conversions. The system can be set to curate for the best, relevant, high-quality reach or train itself toward the outcome that matters most. Once I hit launch, Chalice packages the URLs into a PMP and pushes deal IDs directly into your seat. No spreadsheets, no manual setup. And because it's always on, always learning, it keeps refreshing as new high-quality pages come online. From strategy to live activation, all in one workflow.
Cool. All right, Tylin, this is your baby. That's had a 5 years gestational period.
It's been a long time coming.
I'm curious, so I'll play devil's advocate and say, like, we've seen, I think probably, we're seeing a lot of prompt-based tools come out for teams to use. What makes this one different?
I think the level of transparency and the focus on outcomes are the true differentiators here. I could go on about all of the different nuances of how it's different, how it's better, how it's more flexible. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure this tool actually works. We want to optimize towards outcomes that matter, and we want to make sure that we can iterate on that quickly. This needs to be dynamic. It doesn't do us any good if we optimize a model, the data shifts dramatically over 6 weeks, and we can't do anything about it. That's built into the tool. Then there's the level of transparency. Like you just saw in the demo, we have relevancy scores, quality details, and full content summarizations down to the page level, or if we're talking about CTV, the show level. You don't have to trust the AI. It's not a black box. You can actually scroll through all of the AI decisioning, understand how it's making those decisions, and feel confident that you can actually apply an AI that's working for you, not against you.
You know, and I think that's part of, going back to where the benefits of the partnership have been. You guys learned that from us early on, that, the transparency piece is very important, and especially as we kind of look at, some of the competitors from the walled gardens that, are very black box, as we all know. The ability to kind of understand how these things are working and curate, lack of a better word, to make them work, in ways that we've seen to be effective in the past is very important to us and clients. And I think, again, a good antidote to the set it and forget it and hope it works, but not necessarily know why world.
Awesome. And Stephanie, I'm curious, you lead a programmatic team. I'm sure they're incredible, smart human beings. How do you think about deploying those human beings with tools like this that help bring AI into their hands?
Like thinking about how they actually are using the tool?
Yeah.
I mean, the teams on a day-to-day basis are hands-on keys, so they're in the platforms. So I think what I love, to me, that concept of the prompt-based is maybe I am lazy, I don't know, but that is so cool to me. You could just word dump into a prompt, and I just could see people being able to use that type of solution to just be creative. Go in there and just type in, hey, here's what if I did this and added these elements, and what could I add? I feel like it opens up a way for people to be more thoughtful, more curious, and do it faster, because we don't have time really to piece together all the data that would be the otherwise solution. So for me, that's what I think is interesting about all of this, is the speed.
I also love the optionality it gives people. I've had quite a few campaigns where we want to optimize, but it's not new. There's no historical data. Or maybe there's first-party data and we are not comfortable sharing that. We can't use it. At least you can still use AI. You can use a prompt. You can look at your relevancy scores and quality, and you can start optimizing with AI even if you don't have access to that first-party data we'd like.
Yeah, I think we kind of evolved from a custom bidding algorithms company to a company that deploys AI models in many ways, and this is the way we do it with curation. And the reason we kind of moved into curation was we saw curation falls into two buckets. One is completely opaque. It's promised to be packaged up as premium, but actually you can't see inside the box. You don't know what's going on. I hear from people I've interviewed for jobs who come from curation partners that this standard is like a 60 to 70% markup for the curation partner. So you have that, and then, or you have like beautiful human beings at agencies like creating an inclusion list, with hand-picking domains, hand-picking block list, and then that it's static, like it doesn't update as frequently.
And it takes forever.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking about, well, how can we make something that is transparent, as you said, is like allows for true insight and control into lists, but doesn't involve like a human having to, go through thousands of lines. And anyway, so we're excited about it. Okay, so I am very interested, Greg. You brought up that you've been hearing across, advertising week, and it seems like the rumbles of this happen every year a little bit more, like this concept of the death of the open web. Now, the chat platforms are eating its lunch. Quality, has become an issue. How do you think about that? Is it changing your buying behavior at Canvas?
I mean, again, first of all, it's overblown. I'll sit here and channel R.I. Paparo a little bit without a podcast, but, I think what we're going to see is a real opportunity develop in, media that is undervalued, first and foremost. I mean, part of what any agency wants to do is find the right value for their clients to achieve outcomes. And so I think the open web kind of shifts into being more of that opportunity. Of course, more and more budgets have been going to walled gardens for years and years now. And, I don't know that we're going to see a lot of that abate anytime soon. What's interesting, however, and I mean, we're only 9 days since the launch of Sora 2, you're already starting to see, a phenomenon we're going to become very used to called AI slop, starting to really infiltrate the walled gardens. And, open web has an advantage in that you can't upload anything you want to it, unlike TikTok, unlike YouTube. And so it's going to be very interesting to see this play out as far as does all of a sudden, some advantage come back to the open web. Now, it's messy. It is certainly full of brand pitfalls that we know. And that's why products and methodologies like the Curate algorithm become even more important. They can do things that need to be done on behalf of a brand at rates and at scale that humans couldn't possibly do on their own, and look at a number of different variables that really matter to a brand, all right? Like what is the impact of that ad? We spend so much time on audiences. We don't spend enough time on impact. Curate is allow us to kind of thread the needle for both. So, I think the open web becomes more of an opportunity over time. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I do think it's going to be.
Nice. I'm always happy to hear a positive take on it.
Yes, Jeff would be happy to.
I don't know what Jeff you're talking about.
Couldn't tell you.
Steph, what are you most excited about for the evolution of curation?
I mean, a lot of what we've already said, honestly, just like the saving of time, the workflow. I think when I think about the output from AI, like so curation being one of those, how that to me is, if we can learn how to take the AI outputs and then truly channel that into helping a client like think about how they are branding themselves, like that it becomes more than just a campaign, like an ad hoc campaign day over day. It's like, hey, this is the actual way that we're thinking about how AI is shaping this brand. To me, that's, I don't know if that's answering your question, but it's curation like feeding into how ultimately like agencies are supposed to be helping their brands like evolve. So
yeah, I think then the most optimistic view of what AI will do, and I believe it will be this, is it frees us up from all of the like gaming and platform metrics and black boxes and
let's go translate my brand into Boolean logic.
Yeah.
Never again, hopefully.
And like get back to what marketers do, which is think about like the consumer and the creative and how my product should like resonate with them and how to get that message across. So I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.